Okay, so I figured it might be a little easier to make a video of this instead of try and write out instructions. So here I have my 2 layers of fabric that have been hemmed together and my 1 piece of non-woven that's been hemmed. These were sewn together front to front, and then I slipped the bread tie underneath between the 2, the seam allowance and the fabric, and then top stitched over the top of it. So that's in there now, and it's nice and flexible. You can do 2 or 3 bread ties. We've got plenty of them. So let's see, and I'm going to trim a couple of things here. My sewing leaves a lot to be desired, so just FYI. And so the hardest part for me was figuring out the hem, or the pleats. And so what I did is I made a little template, and I've got some extras for everybody so that I'll have at the art center. So from the bottom it goes up a 1/2 inch, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 3 3/4, 4 1/4, and 5 1/2. So that is a running thing on there. Okay, 1/2 inch, 1 3/4, 2 1/4, 3 3/4, 4 1/4, and 5 1/2. Okay, so then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this. So I mark my top always. And you know what I usually do also? I mark my top on both sides. And that way, if I find this on my desk, I'll know it's not just a piece of flotsam that needs to be thrown away, that it's a template. All right, so I'm going to line this up at the bottom. And I'm just going to make a little mark. And actually, I'm going to use a better marker than this because it doesn't matter if it has. And then I'm going to flip it over for this side. Okay, then all I have to do when I make my pleats is I'm going to start on this side first. I'm going to pinch the second one up and bring it down to the lowest one. Pin it, pinch, skip one, pinch, bring it down to the next one. And pinch and bring this down to this one. Okay, and then I can repeat that on here so I know that this goes down to here, and now I can pull it. Remember, I can't press this because I've got that non-woven in there. If you're just working with fabric and it's easier to press it, you can certainly do that. Okay, so that should give me the right pleats for that. You want the one at the top to be bigger because you need a little space for your nose, and if they're a little bit off, you know, I think that's fine, but that's pretty close. And let's see, I'm gonna put this top one up just a little bit. Okay, and then when I go to put my seam binding on, so here's my seam binding that I cut 2 inches. I folded it to the middle. So it comes out a little bigger than 1/2 inch, but I think that's fine. I'm going to find the center of it. I'm going to put the center in the middle of my side, and then I'm just going to stitch right in that ditch, and then that'll be attached, and then I can just bind that seam all the way across. So what I did is, so this was stitched in that seam and then just stitched over the top. And I'm going to finish those ends a little bit. But so that should be really nice and sturdy. It's got the non-woven on the inside. It's got the bread tie in there. Okay, so if you have any questions, let me know.